Hola, my name is Flores Espinosa Hidalgo, and in this video I'm going to show you another easy example on how mathematics is used in real life. I'm going to use percentages to compare the number of deaths caused by coronavirus in two countries. Currently, the coronavirus pandemic has been affected more than 200 countries worldwide. In this presentation, I'm going to focus on two countries: the country of Peru, my birth country, where I'm from, and the country of United States, my adopted country, where I live. From this map, we can easily notice that geographically, United States is much bigger than Peru. Roughly, United States is 8 times bigger than Peru. Now, in terms of population size, the population of Peru, the United States, is roughly 10 times the population of Peru. And in this table, I'm going to show the total population of both countries. Approximately, the total population of the United States is 330 million people, that's 100% of the population of the United States, while the population of Peru is 33 million people. So this number represents 100% of the population of Peru. From looking at these numbers, it's easily to see that indeed the population of the United States is 10 times bigger than population of Peru. Another way to see this is that 33 million people represents 100% of the Peruvian population, while the same number represents 10% of the United States population. Going down the line, 3,300,000 people represents 1% of the United States population, while this same number represents 10% of the Peruvian population. Why it's important to take into account population size when we compare number of infected or dead cases caused by pandemics? Because if somebody asks the question, is it possible to have 200 million people infected in the United States? The answer is yes, because the population of the United States is more than 300 million. However, if the same question is asked about Peru, the answer is no, because the population in Peru is 33 million people, so the maximum number of people that can be infected in this case in Peru is 33 million. Now, as of today, the World Health Organization, WHO, is showing that the number of deaths reported by United States and Peru. The number of deaths reported by United States, 40,073 deaths, while Peru is reporting 484. If we just compare the number of deaths between these two countries without taking into account the big difference in population size, then we could conclude that the number of deaths in the United States is roughly 100 times the number of deaths in Peru. This is a valid conclusion, however, very unfair, because we haven't taken into consideration the big difference in population size. Now, another way to compare these numbers is 40,073 is equivalent to 0.012% of the total US population, United States population, while the number 484 deaths is equivalent to 0.0014% of the total Peruvian population. So using percentages and taking account the population size, from these two numbers, we can conclude that the number of deaths in the United States is 10 times the number of deaths in Peru, a more fair conclusion than the previous one that was given here without taking into account differences, sizes, and population. Now, again, it's very important to consider or to account for population size when we report number of infected and dead cases between in communities or in countries, especially when we compare these numbers. Next, I want to show you an example. So what I show in this table on the right is real data. In my example, I'm going to show you what I call a very dramatic example. There's no real data. It's just for illustration purposes, just to be sure you understand the importance of accounting for population size when you compare number of infected of deaths between two countries. So suppose WHO shows that the number of deaths in the United States is 66 million and the number of deaths in Peru 33 million. Somebody reading this information who doesn't know the population sizes of both countries could only say, well, the number of deaths in the United States is double the number of deaths in Peru, a valid conclusion, but useless compared to the critical information that should be extracted from this situation. And what is that? If this is happening, then 33 million people is equivalent to 100% of the Peruvian population. That means if this horrible situation is happening, the Peruvian population has been eradicated by a pandemic, while the United States population is surviving because 66 million, even though it's a big number, represents 20% of the United States population. That means 80% of the United States population is still alive and survived the pandemic. Again, this is a very dramatic example, no real data, just for illustration purposes, and I hope helps you understand the importance of accounting for difference in population when you compare or report number of deaths and number of infected caused by pandemics. This version of this video is also available in Spanish on my website, Flor Like Flower. Thanks for listening, and I hope these videos help you understand how mathematics is used in real life and also motivates you to keep learning mathematics. Thanks again for listening and see you in the next video. Bye.